it's your girl, Deshonda Carter, but you can call me DC. Thanks so much for tuning in today to my show, When the Blue Comes Off. Sit back, relax, take notes, do what you like, and let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my special guest, Francheska Altez. Welcome, Francheska, to the show.
Hey, what's up? Thank you for having me.
Listen,
super excited about being here.
Thank you for coming on the show. You know, we have to support and showcase our beautiful women and all of the things that they're doing, especially when they're serving the community in the way that you do by working with children. And we will get into that, as well as your entrepreneur skill set. So we're going to just hop straight into it. Tell the people about what you do before you take off your blue and run your business. What is it that you're doing on your 9 to 5?
So I'm a ESL teacher. My certification is from 6 to 12. So I'm licensed to teach anywhere from 6 to 12. Currently, I am teaching at a school that's junior high school and a high school. So as an ESL teacher, I work with students that speak English as a second language. So my job is to help them gain command of the English language.
So wait a minute. So you work with children who speak a second language. Do you speak more than one language, or do you talk to them in English, or do you have to teach? I don't to explain that to me.
So I do speak a second language. English is also my second language. However, I speak Haitian Creole.
Okay.
And some Spanish and a little bit of Arabic and whatever I need to use,
okay,
I guess, to communicate with my young
ones. Multifaceted in language. Get it. Love it. Okay, I'll take you out. Let me know what they saying about me, girl. I know they talk about me. But they say.
So to teach ESL, you don't necessarily have to be bilingual. But, there's specific strategies that you learn so that you're able to communicate with young people and get them to the level where they're able to speak fluent English. Maybe not fluent, but enough to get them to be able to have dialogue in the classroom setting. So my job is to do whatever it is I need to do to make sure that the foreign students are able to complete the same task as the American students, the native-born children. So it's a lot, especially with COVID. I think teaching for ESL and special ed teachers was probably almost an impossible task during this time period. Teaching online on Zoom with foreign students, it was a lot.
Wow, I didn't even think about that during this interview and conversation that we're having. But you're right. So during the COVID, we're still COVID. So during COVID, but you're back in the building now. You guys are physically in school?
Yeah, we're in the building full-time now, full-time.
Okay, so before, like you said, it was hard. What was the most challenging part of that? Just because trying to get them to understand the technology?
Well, getting young people to understand the technology, that's one. And when you're dealing with students that are trying to learn English, a lot of times you have to use strategies where there's a specific strategy we use called TPR, total physical response. If it's a student that has no English at all, a lot of what you do is movement. So you have to do physical movement along with images and along with the verbal language in order to get them to understand. So now when you're online with a student like that, they're not next to you. So movement is really not an option. So now you're relying on images on the screen. So you have to be able to upload enough images. And then when you have them along with, let's say, 20 other kids in a class setting, it's really hard. And so a lot of times we would have to work after hours outside of, the regular school hours in order to try to work at least one-on-one, or maybe in a classroom where it's less than 5. So you'd have to do additional hours to kind of break up the classroom, because, teaching 20 foreign students at the same time is just a lot. And it's not just my work. I have to assist them with social studies work, for example. I have to assist them with mathematics, because those teachers are not trained to really work with English language learners. So therefore, they're not going to know the strategies, and they might not have the patience that it's going to take. Whereas in ESL teacher, you're trained more or less with certain, strategies that you have to use, breaking down the words, showing them phonics, things of that sort, in order to help them be able to complete any given task at the time. Or at times we would have to kind of modify the assignments, because some assignments, there's no way that they would be able to complete it. So I would have to modify it in order for them to be able to complete at least part of the task. What we call chunking. So sometimes we would have to chunk up the task, rather than having them write an essay. We're talking about just getting them to a point where they could write a paragraph.
Right.
So it was quite a task. It really was. It was challenging for them. I would say, even native-born students lost about 2 years. So you figure an English language learner how far back they are.
Really? You think by them being taught at home, it really affected them in terms of being
delayed? Yeah, definitely. Yes, definitely. Like currently, my 6th graders, I would say, are really functioning at about a 4th grade level. 4th, maybe 3rd grade level, some of them.
Wow.
And because there's no way. When they're at home, there was really no way to really control if they're even paying attention to what's going on. Most children kept their cameras off, which meant that often they would be away from the computer.
And they
not
definitely
really paying attention.
Right, they weren't paying attention. They probably weren't retaining anything. They were just there getting by.
And any assignments that they were given, they would use Google. They would locate the information, copy and paste, and that would be that.
Right.
So there was really no way to really check for comprehension. And then even socially, our children they've regressed. Remember, they were already struggling before COVID, right? Using the cell phones and the internet. So now, them being at home for over 2 years, you figure they weren't having much interactions with other human beings, with other young people.
Right.
And they were just on the computer, on TikTok, on Facebook, all types of social media. All types of depression has gone up due to the fact that they were home, they weren't interacting. You have a lot of young people. The only stable environment that they really have is when they're inside of a school building.
Because it's consistency.
So often it's consistent. They can get the food. They can get interaction. They see the same teachers every day. Believe it or not, they see the friends every day. That's the only time they really get to interact and socialize. So most of them did not really get that time to do that. They were just home.
So what do you think we can do to kind of do you think is there anything we can do to kind of catch them up, or will they ever catch up, or is it just going to just
I think it's going to take a few years for them to catch up, but for now I would definitely recommend that parents make it a point to spend more time with the children, having daily conversations with the young people, understanding that it's not okay for them to be locked up in a room all day. It's not okay for them to be on the cell phone all day. They need that human interaction. We have to check in. We have to ask them how they're doing. How was their day? How's everything going? It's okay to go dig in the book bags now. Look to see what's happening in the bags, because a lot of young people have really gone to the point where they're abusing drugs. And I think, I've had some of my young people tell me how depressed they are. Like they feel very depressed. They feel, like overwhelmed. They feel disconnected with the school. They have no motivation right now. This is what teachers are dealing with. Young people that have no motivation. They're tired. Young people are using and abusing drugs at a higher rate than ever now.
Well, do you think that's because my thinking is because, and this is always going on in my mind, right? Even if you're in a dual parent household, the children tend not to see their parents necessarily until either late in the evening.
That's true.
Right? So they don't have a real outlet to talk and communicate. So that's what you're saying. They go to the TikTok, they go to the Facebook, they go to the Instagram. So social media is now parenting, like before, right? When kids would go outside, the drug dealers and the gang members outside were parenting. But now the kids are staying in the home, but they're still getting parented by the social media. And they're getting these images of what they think life is supposed to be and what's supposed to be going on. So I think that's where the depression comes from, because there's filters, there's all kinds of things that make them think that there's something wrong with them. And by them now being back in the school, I think it helps because, like you said, the constant consistency of the parents, the counselors, the friends, they need that environment to kind of sustain them from being alone, because you become isolated. I find more and more young people not necessarily always depressed, but also to be introverted. They don't know how to socialize. The social skills are horrible.
Right, they don't know how to really interact with each other. That I'll tell you. That's why, like, now when they're in school, there's so much violence going on in the classroom. They just don't know how to really interact with each other at all. So it's a lot of fighting. They're saying since school opened up, there was last I checked, it was like over 6 or 7 issues with guns. Really? Right in New York City. Yeah, the violence is out of control. The amount of violence that's happening. I mean, crime overall has gone up in New York City. Right. Overall, crime has gone up. But when you're looking at what's happening in the schools, it's a direct reflection of what's happening with just society overall. Crime rate has really gone up. Suicide rates have gone up.
Yeah.
So mental depression has gone up. It's just, like they're telling you, the young people being on the social media, trying to get the likes. So they've done psychological exams to show you how people are impacted every time they sit and they wait. After they've posted something, they're sitting and they're actually waiting for the like.
Yes.
And what they psychologically go through. So now you'll find that's why people get on social media, the young people, and they try to do things that are as extreme as possible.
Oh,
in order to get the likes.
Either it's extreme buffoonery. What's the word I want to say? Buffoonery? Yes.
Foolishness.
Oh, yes, man. Foolishness. Or it's more sultry for their age.
Very sexual. Yes, very sexual.
And I find young girls, I've been seeing young girls just, I don't understand, showing, they're wearing crop tops and showing all of the skin at a very, very young age. And I don't understand why parents are not, doing more to let these young ladies be young ladies. A lot of them are they're living vicariously through their children, because we didn't have this type of a technology when we were younger, like in our teens or in our early 20s. So you can't be acting like a little, showing off your stuff then. So now they let their daughters do it because they think it's cute.
Right. I mean, what it is now they're overcompensating, right? I can't give you time, so therefore I'm just going to spoil you to death. I'm going to give you whatever you ask for.
Right.
Whether it be the $800 cell phones, the $800 sneakers, the weave. Right. These girls change their weaves more than I change my weave. Okay. It's like every 2 weeks they have new hair. And I'm thinking to myself, when I was in junior high and high school, there is no way my mother would be spending $300, a month on a weave for me. Like, it's just
right. And let's take it a little further. Like, it's okay. I think, my business is all about glam, right? I love it, but there has to be more to it. So I don't think young girls should be wearing tips. I mean, what happened to the days that you get a manicure?
Oh, that's gone.
You should not be 8 years old wearing tips, acrylic nails.
They're not even just getting tips anymore. The tips that cost about $7,500 to $150. That's what these young girls are wearing now, with the rhinestones and the studs and the real long, exaggerated. That's what they're doing now. So
and don't forget the eyelashes.
Forget the eyelashes. Forget it.
But let me ask you, what drove you in your heart to want to do the field that you do, to work with children and be an ESL teacher?
So for years, I worked in the managed care field. So there's money to be made in managed care. However, I realized that it was just not, it wasn't doing it for me anymore. I had reached a point where I was working with doctors, and I used to go out to the offices to make sure that, the standards were being met, that they were meeting, all the protocols and doing what they had to do. If they had hours, making sure they were there when they were supposed to be scheduled to be there, and things of that sort. And making sure they got paid. And the doctors were so greedy for money, and it became about a money thing. You know, healthcare is really about money.
Oh,
if you're looking for, yes, right.
Yeah.
So it was like, wow, it's not about caring for patients. And so I remember just, kind of praying on it a little bit. Where did I need to be? And around that time period, I got into a really horrible car accident. So I was out of work for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And my job gave me an ultimatum, like, if you're either coming back or you can leave. And I said, you know what? Maybe this is all a sign, So I left. I quit managed care and I started subbing. I became a substitute teacher, and I had a bachelor's degree at that time. And when I started subbing, it's like God put this woman, put me in the right place at the right time, because the assistant principal in that building was a Black female that saw me, and she said, you know what? This is what you're supposed to do. She's like, go back to school. You're supposed to be teaching ELLs, English language learners. You do it with no effort. It's like so natural. It's, this is you. And at that time, I really, fell in love with the young people in the building. Like I was like a mom in the building, and they loved me. And I was home. So I went to school, and the principal at that time, he applied for me to get an internship certificate. So I was able to stay there, make a full teacher salary while I went to go back to get my master's degree in ESL. My bachelor's is in psychology, and my master's is in ESL. And I became an ESL teacher. I worked in Brooklyn for many years, and then I left there and started working in Queens, and I've been teaching since then. So it's been over 10 years that I've been teaching. And so this is my second career, and I do love it.
What I was just getting ready to just touch upon, because at the end of the day, I think I mentioned this on another show that we had with the Miss Vanessa Williamson, who's a photographer, and people are able to change their careers. Was it Miss Williamson? I haven't gotten the correct guess, but one of the guests that we just interviewed, which I don't understand why people think that when they do one thing that they're stuck in it, right? Because society makes us think that, right? You do a career. Oh, my time is in here. I've been doing this for so long. This is what I know. I'm going to stick to it. But deep down, you have passions, you have desires, you're just curious, like, hey, can I do this? Let me try it. And you were able to successfully transition from one career to another. And then on top of it, you became an entrepreneur. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break and come back and talk about what it is that you do and how you had, fell in love and became an entrepreneur. So just to close this segment out, what would you want to end this on pertaining to your love of education, or any advice that you want to give the parents to help their children at this current time that we're now transitioning out of the COVID phase, and what can they do in your opinion to help them be better equipped for school?
I just think we need to really consciously be aware of the young people. We need to check in. We need to make sure that they are okay. And it's okay to ask them, how are you today? And that's in terms of a community, even if it's not your child. You see somebody else's child, it's okay to stop and ask, having the check-ins, the conversations, taking the time out to really make sure they are doing well. Ask them what's happening. How are they feeling? I do daily check-ins with my students. I do daily check-ins, and I try to pour into them what it is that I want them to be filled with. Because at this point, as adults, we're confused, stepping out of this storm, this nightmare. So you could imagine the little ones.
Right.
The little ones are trying to find their way. And I think we've just thrown them out there and expect them to just swim. But the reality of it, some of them are drowning. And so we really need to take the time out to focus on the social, emotional aspect of learning. I believe academics will follow, but for now, social, emotional has to be the priority. We have to really take care of their minds and their hearts. If not, we're going to just find ourselves in a very scary place. So just checking in, that's really what's important right now. Checking in, making sure you're even communicating with the teachers to find out what's going on. calling the school every once in a while, dropping by the school if you have to, because the young people need it. They need to know that we are here for them. We're checking in. We notice that, that things are not going to be easy. We know that they may be struggling. Let's just not assume that they're doing okay, because I'm there and I see it. The kids are hurting. They're going through a lot. So the check-in is 100% important.
What they used to say to us back in the days, right? It takes a village to raise a child. So I really,
definitely,
if we would come together, like you said, as a community, even if it's not your child, that's why I really work so hard in working with children, because a lot of times, kids won't tell parents everything that's going on, but they may tell you, at least if they have someone in their life that they can talk to. It's a win.
Right.
So, but thank you for that. And, we're going to take a break, guys, and we're going to come back with Miss Francheska Charles. And she's going to tell us all about her entrepreneurial skill sets and all of the things that she's doing. So stick around and don't go anywhere.
This has been brought to you by Simply Carter Corp., your one-stop shop for all of your entertainment and party needs. Contact Simply Carter Corp. for any special occasion. You can find them on Facebook at Simply Carter Corp., on Instagram at Simply Carter Corp. You can check out their website at www.simplycartercorp.com. Give them a call at 845-682-0022, or you can shoot them an email at hello@simplycartercorp.com. Simply Carter Corp., a brand for everyone.
That's okay.
Welcome back. We're here with the phenomenal Francheska Charles, and she is now going to tell you all what she does when she takes off her blue. And I'm just going to hand it right on over to her as we speak. So, Fran, tell the people what you do when you take off your blue.
So, what can I say? I think we Leos are so great at multitasking. So being a teacher always meant to me that I have the vision to see things that are not, that don't even exist yet. So starting my own business, I believe, is connected to that concept, right? I saw myself as someone that could kind of, sell a beauty product. And what would that beauty product be? It would be hair. When I realized how much money I was spending on hair, and I was spending all that money and sending it to the Asian community, growing that community, I said, you know what, there's no reason why I can't sell hair. Like, it's been years of me using hair. It's been years of me educating myself about hair. So why can't I make that money? So in the beginning, I was selling hair for another brand. They're Black owned, as a matter of fact. And, but I was only making like a percentage of whatever the sale was. And then I was able to kind of spend the percentage and buy more of the hair. Mm-hmm. But then when I realized, okay, you know what, I could do this. I went to the books and I started reading up on how to find my list of vendors, and I found my list and I started sampling hair. And we went from sampling hair to eventually, getting a website and creating my own hair company. And my Instagram name is Francheska. So I kept with the branding concept. And so the name of the company is Hair So Fancy.
Okay. But let me ask you a quick question here.
Sure.
Because you said what you said in regards to spending so much money in the hair business, right? In terms of buying from other places, right?
Right.
The competition now, I see there's so many people that sell hair. Like, what do you think sets you and your brand apart from your hair, from their hair, basically?
Well, I think for me, hair, again, is a matter of beauty. It's a matter of confidence. And when I decided to start a hair company, I took my time to actually research a lot of the other companies that were out, and where I felt perhaps they were lacking and could not relate to me as a woman that, that had a career, that had a family. I needed a company that could speak to me, right? Speak to that woman with the family, speak to that woman that was doing a million things. And so as I shopped for hair, I made sure that I, picked up hair that was could definitely last, that would be very durable, that I would be able to wear a few times. Hair that I can fall asleep tonight and wake up, comb it, and it still look great. Because I'll be honest, I think my beautician often hates me because I don't really put too much money in her pocket. If I get my hair done, like, today, she may not see me until the next 6 weeks or maybe even 2 months later.
Okay.
So I decided that I was going to get hair that if you are that busy lady, you can wear my hair and it'll still look great. I take pride in that, making sure I look great without the stress. Right. Because I don't have the time to get to the shop every day. I don't have the time to do it every week. I know some women can, but for me in my busy life, I just don't have it. So I feel like that is one of the things that makes my hair stand out. The quality, the fact that it's durable, the fact that it speaks to you, the woman that's busy, that's doing a lot of things, And also in terms of I'm a Black female selling this product and I work a full-time job. So therefore, if I decide that I'm going to do this is something that I care about. This is something that I'm passionate about. Right. Because I also work a job during the day. And I still have to take my time to invest in my company because it's something that I believe in. So I think often, sometimes when, you're doing it because you're not taking it that serious, you don't have to go hard at it. For me, I'm up 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock at night sometimes ordering hair from my vendors. Because, when America's asleep, that's when the rest of the world is up. Right. So I don't have anybody else that's helping me run my company. I basically run it myself, and I have to keep my day job to run it. And I have a third job as well. I work for an advertising company.
Wait, we ain't going to get to that part. You got to give them, we're going to get it.
So I think that's one of the things that sets me apart. Just making sure that I take my time to test the hair. And I believe in it because I wear my hair. I believe in it because I take my time when I'm branding and I reach out to other women and I support and I give back. I often sometimes donate hair when I can to certain, being that I'm a school teacher, sometimes I'm in the area where I may have to donate something according to maybe prom season or something of that sort. So for me, it's a brand that I believe in. It's beauty. It's the confidence that I feel every woman, every young girl should have. And it's hard work. That's why I feel like my brand sets me apart. A lot of other women. And at the same time, let's be honest, there's more than enough women to buy hair.
Absolutely.
So even if there's 20 other women that I know selling hair, there is enough sunshine for everybody. I'm going to be honest with you, because if the Asian community has been around in our community for so long, taking our money and they've survived
and being very
successful. Mm-hmm. There's 5 Chinese restaurants maybe, right? Within a 2-block radius. Let's be honest.
Right.
Okay, so they're surviving. Trust me, I'm not going to get or attack another sister that's selling hair. We could all survive. Right. As a matter of fact, I strongly believe in networking, and that's what I also kind of pride myself in doing, networking. So I network with women that are hairstylists. So when I'm doing my photo shoots, I make sure that I reach out to women that want to work with me. I get stylists, I get makeup artists, and we all create a little network, where we're all going to make money. So when I'm posting my photos, I'm tagging that stylist. Right. That's become part of my network. I'm tagging the photographer that's become part of my network, where we all work together. If there's a referral to be made, I say, reach out to my girl. This is what she does. Right. Or sometimes it's not, if I know somebody else that's selling something that I don't have, I'll even send them a referral. I have wig makers that I work with. Sometimes I have clients that want customized wigs. So what do? I'm not going to try to give my sister that makes wigs that deal. I'm like, sister, here's what I need from you. This is the hair. I give her piece. She makes the wig and we all can eat. Right. So, that's how I look at it. So yeah, there's a lot of hair companies, of course.
But we can all eat. I agree. I strongly agree. You know how I feel about that. But I'm glad you also mentioned this part, right? Because people tend to think, I'm an entrepreneur, I don't need to work. Now, I was blessed, I was able to retire. So at the end of the day, whether I make money, lose money, I'm going to get a check every month because the New York City Department of Correction gave me my pension, right? But what I don't like is when people tell people, oh, you should quit that job and, just go out here and step out on faith and do your business. So don't get me wrong. I would never discourage anyone to have faith in their business, right? But the reality is life is hard.
Right.
And we are in a time when everyone is finding their talents and they're doing things outside of their norm. They're finding things that they're passionate about. But these things cost legitimate businesses, and that's the difference. In order to be a legitimate business, you have to legitimize yourself. And you can't say I have an Instagram page and shop from my Instagram page and that makes you a business, because you need to pay business tax. You need to have, send out invoices. You need to be able to have all of the correct set up to be a legitimate business, right?
Right.
And you need money to fund it. And you need money to buy supplies, and you need money to keep advertising is one of the most expensive bills in business, right? If you're trying to reach a target market, especially a large target market, right? And that's where your third business comes in, advertising. So please explain to the people about your advertising business. Come with it. Tell them. That's what they really say. They say, you not one job, not two job, 3 job, man. 3 job the woman got. Is this not a phenomenal woman? Tell us about the advertising.
So I work for an advertising company that does digital billboard advertising. So they create digital flyers and they're placed on billboards, and the billboards are placed in, your local supermarkets, your restaurant, your lounges, and through a repetition system. So your ad plays continuously. Maybe, your ads could be anywhere from 10, 20, or 60 seconds, and it plays continuously. So if a client, your potential client or customer is there for 15 minutes, within that 15 minutes, they would see your ad at least 4 to 5 times, for example. So through consistency, that's how you're able to get, clients.
Right.
And I don't think we realize it, that even a song that you once upon a time hated
becomes your favorite song because you start singing it all the time.
Yes. If you hear it enough, all of a sudden, oh my God, I can't get the song out of my head.
Right.
So when you go into a location and you're seeing an ad continuously, eventually you're like, what's the name of that thing again? I saw it at that area. Oh, yes. Hair's so fancy. Yes, they sell hair. Let me log on. And sometimes people will be in the locations. They'll take images. They'll take pictures of the ads. And then later on, they'll, go on your website in order to look it up. So advertising is always something that I think I've always been interested in marketing. When I worked for the health insurance company, I started off in the marketing department. So marketing is something that's always been a passion of mine. Being able to talk, communicate, and sell something to someone, right? In order to sell, people don't realize how much psychology it takes, right? You need to understand the person, understand the group that you want to reach out to. And sometimes you only have a few minutes to get to know the person that you need to sell to. So that's the concept here, that, the person, you might only have a few seconds to get a potential customer. So if your ad is there and your ad is beautiful and they're seeing it, there goes a future client. And like you said, marketing is something that's forever.
Right.
If you're in business, you can't ever stop marketing.
Right.
I think I'm a walking ad now. My hair has to be done. My makeup has to be done. I am the best ad. And I realized that, I think before I wasn't taking as much time, but then as soon as I started being my own billboard, I mean, it has to catch up. People are going to see you. They're going to ask you questions. And before you know it, there goes, those sales are coming in, where sometimes delivering hair to people's homes or on the spot. I had just happened to have, I sell beard oil products also through my men's line. I have called HSF for men because I started a men's line.
Okay.
Due to COVID, I realized how many men were growing out their beards.
Right.
I had no choice but to start a men's beard line.
Right.
So I carry my beard products because men, believe it or not, spend money way faster than women.
I agree.
So a man will just give you $40, $50, $60 on the spot for a beard product. So I keep those with me. And so just like that, sometimes I'll sell it,
Right.
Gotta always be ready, so that you don't have to get ready.
Oh, that's what they say. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Get ready.
That's it. Exactly. So I think, again, not getting stuck in that box and doing everything that you want to do. That's just where we're at right now. I think if COVID has taught us anything, it's do whatever it is that you want to do. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for later. Don't say, I'm going to start that business tomorrow or I'm going to go back to school tomorrow. It's like, let's do it today. Because while you're energized, while you're excited about doing something, you have to do it. You just have to make it happen. There can be no regrets once you tried and you gave it your 100%.
Absolutely.
I think the regret only comes when you say, "Oh, I should have done that." I think one of my favorite poems is the Road Not Taken.
Okay.
I don't know if you're by William Frost. So this man is standing and he's looking at two roads and he decides which road he's going to take, right? He's like, oh, that road looked like it's less traveled. This road looks traveled. And so he decides to take one. And then the poem ends. He goes, wow, for years to come, I'll be wondering if I should have taken that other road.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the only regrets you have is when you don't do something.
And and like I said prior, at the end of the day, nothing beats a try but a fail. If you go down that road and it's bumpy and it's windy and it's pitfalls to the left and pitfalls to the right, and when you get to the end, you're like, wow, that was a hard road to travel, but you made it through. And then the next time when you see that type of situation, like, nah, I'm not going down that road again. You know what I mean? But you wouldn't have known and you would not have gained the experience if you didn't do it.
That's true. And sometimes when you take a particular route, it's not the destination may not even be what you think it is. Sometimes during the travel, God puts you there to meet certain people. And that may be just what you're supposed to get out of traveling that road. Sometimes we just don't really know, but not taking the trip, you lose out on so many things.
Right.
You lose out on people. You lose out opportunity. You learn out maybe something you should have learned from the experience. There's just so much to be lost.
Or it was meant for you to teach somebody else because your paths needed to cross. So you may not have taken that road for your benefit, but the road may have been for you to educate and get someone on their correct path. So
definitely.
Like I said to you before, I applaud you in all that you do. You're a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful woman. And my favorite word is phenomenal because unlike you, my favorite poem is Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou.
Yes, so you can't go wrong.
Yeah, she says it all. She says it all. And, everybody just tell the people where they can find you. You said it already, but tell them where they can find you in terms of Instagram, your social media handles. And, of course, please give the websites for your hair. And if there's any information you can give, if any other entrepreneurs are out there who are willing to advertise, because your advertising is in the city, right? New York City area?
New York City area, yeah, right? Definitely.
So New York City area,
the 5 boroughs.
Yep. If you guys want to get your business seen and you need a billboard, you need to holler at my girl. So, Fancy, where can they find you at?
So my personal Instagram is Fancy. That's FANCYCHESKA1. Francheska1. That's my personal. My hair Instagram page is hair HAIR _so and then _fancy FANCY. And the website is hairsofancy.com. Hairsofancy.com again. And my beard brand is HSF beard.com. So they're connected from one site. You could actually jump to the other site as well. And if you need the billboard, you can hit up my personal page, and definitely I can assist you. Billboard advertising is important, but I'm here for you. If you're just a brand that wants to network, if you're a photographer, or if you are a hairstylist, or perhaps you just need information about branding, that's something else that the advertising company does. Or if you just want to network, I mean, it's always a positive thing when different brands get together, they talk, and they see how they can help each other grow. So it's always a good thing, and I love sisterhood. So I would love to have any type of. I'm shocked you haven't done it yet. A sister forum where we like a group of women could get together and just exchange ideas.
No, listen, my plate, girl, be full. I mean, unlike you got 3 jobs. I think I got 6. Like every time I turn around, I'm doing something. So I do have something in the works that I'm going to tell you about when we get off the air that I definitely want you to be a part of, but I will disclose that to you later because I don't want to open it up yet.
Right.
I just want to say yet again, I love that about you and the networking, and that's what we need more of: women coming together and showing love to each other, and because when we can get together and be together harmoniously, there are just no boundaries and no barriers that we can't get through. Women in general,
I agree.
So
I
thank
agree.
you.
And
go ahead.
I'm just thinking how we met. We met through social media. We didn't know each other prior to this. And I remember when you were opening up
the Diva Glam.
The Diva Glam, and I was like, wow, my sister's doing something amazing. I got to drive out to her.
Yes,
and
you did. You came in, was a vendor for the event.
Definitely. So supporting is something that I think we should all do. Always get ready to support another sister, another brother. It's so important. It'll come back to you in 20 folds. It'll come back to you. It's always a good thing to support.
Well, again, like I said before, I want to thank you so much for taking your time out on this Friday night. I don't know, we air on Thursday, but it's a Friday night before because Miss Francheska, she has to go out there and get beautified. Y'all heard her say she was a walking billboard. Unlike me, like I tell you, anytime you see me dressed, it's on purpose. 9 times out of 10, I am doing exactly what I'm doing right now. Home with a bonnet on my head. Oh, and don't forget, I got to order some bonnets from you too, because she sells bonnets too. So thank you again, and
you're welcome.
We will definitely be speaking in the near future. Everybody, if you missed part of this show, you can catch the replay on my YouTube channel, which is Simply Carter Corp on YouTube, and you can catch the beginning. But if not, then we'll see you next Thursday right here on Total TNENT Radio. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I look forward to bringing you many, many more, all with positive vibes. Stay safe and see you next time.